the Game Industry Executive Summary. This is Casey, and of course we have with us the Traveler, Manu Rosier, and the always dashing Dave Thier.
Oh, not traveling. I'm right here. This is where I stay.
You make small travels.
Exactly. I was kind of over here before. No.
This is like, for those who are just listening, you have to watch the episode to get the joke. Gentlemen, welcome on board.
Good to be here.
Oh.
Good to be back.
I think you're actually very low, Dave.
I was kind of whispering. I should talk louder.
Oh, yeah, that's better. That's better.
Yeah, I'm getting a little closer too. Yeah.
Yeah. Doing live mic checks.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, how has your week been?
Yeah,
good.
It's been
busy, as usual.
Yeah, busy. Definitely busy. It's been nice. It's been cold.
Yeah.
I saw Manu last week, so that's that was very exciting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. We got to observe the Amsterdam harbor together from the office.
I have to find ways to Photoshop my face on the Master Chief that's beside you.
Yeah, that's good.
So I can at least pretend I was there. Gentlemen, and especially you, Dave, next week we're doing the monthly takeaway.
Oh, yeah. Gonna get to work on that tomorrow. So lots of exciting things going on.
Exciting. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
And both me and Manu are also featured on that one next week. So we appreciate you helping us with, making our words pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, now that I think about it, I have to go back and because Manu's challenging me on my life service theories and philosophies. Okay. So I have to go back and change that a bit or rather edit it. On that note, are there any games that you're playing right now that we should know about?
Oh, wait. I reached a milestone.
Okay, tell us what's going on. I'm
elite this season in Fortnite.
Congratulations. How many W's does that come with?
I don't know. I think there are only 2 levels left.
Yeah.
I think I can make it to whatever is next, but maybe not to. What is the final one? Unreal. Yes, I probably not going to be Unreal.
Good job, Epic. Yep.
I see what they did there. What does it mean to be on that level?
A lot of playing, I think, and then what I think maybe I can share that. I think it's interesting inside. I don't know where I can share that. Maybe here. Wait.
Let's have a look. I will say I am doing some research on both Fortnite, Roblox, and these platforms, and I would love to hear your take. Because if you're spending that much time in Fortnite, that means you are playing experiences. And what's your takeaway on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I share screen here?
I am not sure, to be honest with you. Can you?
There's a share button at the bottom.
There's a share button at the bottom, yes.
So,
and then screen. See if that helps.
Yeah.
This is the first time we actually have somebody else other than me share the screen.
Okay. Maybe 2 seconds.
Okay, go for it. Maybe I'll ask Dave. Anything you're playing or anything like?
I spent all last week playing a great game that I will not talk about because it is covered by NDA. But then I spent I've been doing got some mobile things going. I was trying that the new Blizzard one. Well, not the newish Blizzard one. It's like an auto battler, kind of an auto lane based auto battler. Some elements of Clash Royale, I think, arguably with the way it handles like your energy, and it's cool. It's pretty chill. You just kind of drop your little guys on, they run up and they hit stuff. And I haven't got to the parts where it gets difficult, but I assume that in order to get difficult, like you just upgrade your guys a little bit, and then it's chill again. So I was enjoying that. I also did some Diablo Immortal, which that was an interesting thing. It does play like Diablo. I think in some ways it underlines the kind of gameplay that you get in full fat Diablo, because if they can replicate it in mobile decently, but that was fun. I had a nice time screwing around with that a little bit.
But that is just mobile, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Manu, now that you've shared your screen, what's going on? Can you zoom in, please?
This is the ranked Battle Royale leaderboard, just to give an idea of where is the proportion of players. And we are talking about 9,200,000 players in ranked. I think what you see, the distribution is very even in almost all categories, right? This is not like, this is rather flat. But if you go to the zero build, it's a different story, where you see.
Oh, very interesting.
Yes. And you are talking about only 3 million players. So from a ranked standpoint, the classic construction Battle Royale still has like 3 times more players, at least playing ranked. And probably where the competitive, and the level is probably more even in that mode because it's been there for a much longer time. While if you go into the zero build, that's where you see that there are very few, probably a lot of people just play a few games and then they end up being bronze or silver. But then after that, not many actually go to the end, right? And we are talking about, in this case, 30,000 player in Elite. And if you go in Battle Royale, you have almost 500,000. So there is a huge, massive difference in how it looks. And just to come back to what I'm playing that because I just wanted to prove myself and to see how far I can go while I'm still having fun. I think playing in duos with my son, at some point, it doesn't become fun anymore for him or for us because it's super try hard, right? You play a completely different game. But I wanted to continue on my side. So I'm grinding. I'm not an excellent player. I'm probably good at positioning and strategy. I'm not good at actually shooting and killing other enemies. But yeah, lately it has become my go-to game. It's the game I would launch when I have half an hour, right? That's what happened, I think, with most players. They have this kind of lifestyle game where they just end up. I've not even finished Indiana Jones, where I know I'm in the last part, probably 10% to do, but I didn't even bother starting it or trying anything else recently. So that's kind of, maybe it's symptomatic of other players too.
I mean, that sort of half-hour metric, I think, is such an important thing about how live service works. Like, we're all running around, we got stuff to do. The modern world assaults you from all angles, and the idea of booting up even an involved game like Indiana Jones when you're already playing it, let alone for the first time, just takes more psychological effort and actual time than you typically have.
Yeah.
Are you playing any experiences? Because I noticed like the top 10 list or of the amount of players spending their time seems like 90% of like, the top experiences are dominated by official experiences, not player created experiences. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you would play some like just to warm up the shooting part. You would play some like smaller experience with just complete PvP, box fight and stuff like this. But this is just temporary. And I would say the challenge you still have in Fortnite is that the moment you have more than 4 people playing at the same time, there is nothing official that really fill that gap. So that's where you revert to other type of game. And I wonder, I mean, Epic must know how often people are teamed up in more than 4 people, but I wonder if they have anything. Is there anything they can offer in the future for more than 4 people in the game?
I do remember, I think it was their first limited time mode way back when was a 50 versus 50 mode.
They did that back in the day?
That was, I think, I remember they announced it at the Game Awards. It was their first limited time thing along those lines.
But that was probably part of Battle Royale setup.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But back then, everything was it was Fortnite Battle Royale. So, I mean, Save the World existed, but it was in its own like launcher.
Yep. Fair enough, gentlemen. That's some cool stuff about Fortnite, the game that keeps evolving, and I think what is interesting to me to look at long term is their capability or their willingness to give away power to creators. Because right now, it seems like anything related to monetization, content creation that is sold, is locked down and fully controlled by Epic. When looking at Roblox, the freedom that creators have is greatly it's bigger or better or. But I'm very interested these days about understanding where this is going, and if creator experiences on Fortnite will one day take over what Epic is doing.
I would be surprised at this point, mostly because that ecosystem is just so very Roblox.
Yeah, I think there is a clear plan from Epic to be a better competitor versus Roblox. So that's why they are also pushing on the creative and creator content. I think one of the issue right now is that Roblox is so much present on mobile devices compared to Fortnite that I think they are way ahead on HD platform, but they are so far behind in mobile, and I don't see a way for them to really win the war. I would say all platform added.
Well, the idea of like me telling my 7-year-old daughter, like, oh, you should play Fortnite instead of Roblox. She's like, where's my that start from zero with a new avatar? All that, like that's going to be that's a heavy ask.
Yeah, and at the same time, by essence, Fortnite is still a very competitive game. Unless you go for the Lego experience, but other than that, it's very different. I think from Roblox, where there is still more creativity. It feels like the whole creativity and building stuff in Fortnite is still not really. It's not competitor to Minecraft neither, right? You don't go in Fortnite to do what you do in Minecraft, except for the Lego experience. But the Lego experience, I think, is kind of plateauing also. It's not better than what you find in Minecraft and in other kind of adventure building games.
Yeah, I played a fair amount of that, actually. I played, I don't know, like 12, 15 hours of that. And it's cool, like mostly because like the early game survival game loop is very compelling, and you want to upgrade that axe. But at the end of the day, for like more casual survival game people, it's not going to pull away from Minecraft, and for more hardcore people, it's not going to pull away from like Valheim or stuff like that.
I actually want to pull up some numbers to show you kind of like the top experiences. Give me a second here, and I'll share my screen and talk about some of these. So what I mentioned before, you look at the top 10, and it's all what Mano mentioned. It's competitive, epic based game modes, and not even like Lego is anywhere close to the top 10.
That comes in at 7.
Yes. Well, okay. Let me check this one quickly. Yeah, that is correct. But that one's official. Yeah, that's official.
Yes,
but
I think it's like Epic
basically
developed in collaboration with Lego, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. And then if you remove the Epic tag, the closest experiences that you have at the top, the Pit, Octogame. Well, Octogame is a bit different, but if you look at the top, let's say 10 post Epic, then all of them are just a variation of deathmatch or like competitive play.
They don't change that much, right? It's always the usual suspect.
I think what I learned today is that some of the experiences that are very unique, they might like hit an all-time peak, but then they immediately go down to like, let's say 1,000 players simultaneously. But that's it. Really cool stuff happening, and hopefully maybe Epic opens up the platform to do to allow creators to do more. Gentlemen, I'll move over to the news and our newsletter. Sharing my screen again. The number one item on the highlights and I'm really happy about this myself. But, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, what was why isn't Bluepoint making us Bloodborne? Why are they making a live service game? Or why were they making a live
There was a
service
tweet
game?
about that recently,
Yeah.
right? So, but anyways, the story, the highlight: Sony Interactive Entertainment cancels live service games from Bluepoint Games and Bend Studio.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
There are a lot of rumors and stuff about. I mean, it's not completely clear exactly what these games were. There were rumors that I put it in rumor. Then the kind of MMO based on Horizon Zero Dawn was also cancelled, but it might not be cancelled. So there is, as usual, a lot of drama around that.
That's not cancelled.
Yeah, no, but it was initially announced as being cancelled.
Yeah.
So I think it also shows how quickly the snowball effect of just one person stating something from somewhere, and then instantly you have 10 press outlets repeating that. I think it's crazy how quick it goes without actually checking the information, right? So
I mean, you word it in such a way where it's like people are saying, and like you can't be wrong about that, because you're not actually making any definitive statements. And I mean, having spent time in that world, like the pressure to just like just get out and see if there's some traffic in something is too much.
Yeah, it's more about being the first rather than being right.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that's become a lot worse with AI generated articles. Because you can do that literally instantly.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So the story here, I think if you keep track of all the live service games projects that have been canceled by Sony, I think there are not many left. But the problem it's causing for me is that all these studios that were busy on building these games, they were not busy on building other type of game, which means that in the launch schedule of Sony for the next 2 or 3 years, you might have now big gaps because they don't have anything, right? So I'm just I'm curious to see what will happen in the 2-3 years.
Yeah, what was the last major Sony exclusive? Astrobot?
Astrobot was
Concord?
What was it?
Concord?
Yeah, I guess it was Concord, wasn't it?
I mean,
yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, so this will have ripple effect. I think Microsoft has other problem. They probably have higher diversification of their portfolio of games, also because of all the studios they've acquired recently. So it's a different Sony story, but for Sony, yeah, we will have to see what has happened because it's on the back of a year where there was no God of War kind of game, right? So they might, because of that, they might double down on GTA 6 collaboration somehow. Maybe there will be something they will do there.
I'm trying to find upcoming PlayStation exclusives. I'm not sure if I'm going to the right spot. I'm looking at their website, but I don't seem to be able to. Or maybe here we go. But this is Astrobot last year. Horizon is an adventure, but that's also on Nintendo Switch, right? And these are some older other games that have launched. That's Stranding. Was that exclusive? That was exclusive to start with, and then it came to PC, right?
Yeah. And he is working on the sequel. And he works pretty quick.
And that's going to be a timed exclusive as well, I assume.
Most likely, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll need to do like some research on this while we speak about other things to like see what's upcoming PlayStation titles that are exclusive to that.
When we think about like the heavy hitters, like Ragnarok was 3 years ago at this point. I mean, Last of Us Part 2 was 5 years ago. What are the other marquees here? Marquee Studios, and it's been a while since we've had like one of those, typical Sony lavish story-driven things,
All right.
Yep. Ragnarok was November 2022, so that's 2 years ago. And then Last of Us was 4 years ago, just to be a bit more accurate on that. But to your point, apart from Astrobot, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, was that 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Forbidden West, that was, I'm going to say
Here.
2021?
That's 2022.
No, 22.
Yeah. Okay, but I guess the messaging here that and the reason I'm like, happy about the news to a certain extent is that, I want to see my, my single player games that I love and I know they can deliver on. They might not be making a lot of money for the company, but they're keeping me around.
And it's important. They say that when it comes to quarterly reports, you need good income and you need Casey to be around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Gentlemen, let's move over to the next item on the highlights. This one is interesting as well. And then it's attached to some other news. But EA shares, they have dropped by 7% after company lowers guidance due to weakness in soccer. In soccer? That's such a weird... Okay, these people. CNBC.
Yep.
Yeah, we should probably not link to CNBC. But anyways, plus other games. But what can we learn about this, guys?
It's actually minus 15% right now.
That's a big one.
It's a big one, right? I think we spoke a lot about Ubisoft and the share price in recent months, but I think this is an interesting sign that the industry, I mean the big players are not unfazed by what's happening in the market, right? I think the transition between FIFA and EAFC went pretty smoothly, so they didn't really lose players going that way. So that was kind of a good news. So I don't think this is related to that this year. I just feel like, well, they're losing steam like almost everybody, right? There is this so much offering on the market. I don't think, I mean, in December, what did you have? You had Marvel Rivals that was released. That could be a bit cannibalistic to FC.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Fortnite still doing well, right? If they go back to Fortnite. So I think, it might be showing, finally touching big other publishers, right? The trend that there is so much offering that even if you're one of the key player, you can't get attention. I mean, Dragon Age also, I think a good marketing campaign, a good go-to-market campaign. I think they communicated very well. They explained what they did, why they did it, and everything. But the end result had kind of good Metacritic score. But then everybody forgot about it, right? If it's not a masterpiece, then you just have like a few days to shine, and then afterward everybody forgets. So just gonna buy it when it's down 50%. And Dragon Age is kind of it's been in the making for, I believe, around 10 years. So there is a limit between also when you enter this nostalgia phase, where the game is already, the previous one is, you've already lost the fans of the previous one because it's been too long to wait. And the longer the wait, the higher are the expectations. And I think that's what also didn't help with Dragon Age Valkyrie.
Yeah, and I think it's that's all definitely true. And it's interesting what you're saying about the cannibalization on FC, because like when you have such a wide fan base, anything can cannibalize it, and especially because I think FC makes money off of its retail sale, but really it's Ultimate Team, and so like if you lose people for a week, you're losing money,
Yeah. And they were signing the engagement when we were looking at numbers versus last year. They were signing that the game was losing steam, breath. So engagement is key, right? If the players are not around, they don't spend money in the Ultimate Team. It's very simple. I think engagement is an even better metric than the number of units sold.
Mm-hmm.
And we also saw, I think in October, they already started discounting the game, which is a bit unusual. So they were a sign that things were not going as expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I want to show you a graph. I'm not sure if there's any relationships here. And I'm sure you might have seen it already. Have you seen this thing before? Or recently? worldwide consumer spending on video game content plus like the external forecast for growth. So I'm not sure if this comes through. Is his name Matthew Ball?
Yeah.
I forgot where I found this, but I'm not sure. Can we learn anything about this? Like, what is this telling us?
Well, most of people predicting the future are seeing that the growth will slow down after 2020. I think I don't know what ARC people are doing, but it's kind of interesting. They expect basically to have a plus 50% in 3 to 4 years. So that was kind of interesting. And I think the good old days of COVID lockdowns are gone, right?
There's always bird flu.
Well, so the playtime, the available playtime is probably gone down, but not the number of games released on the opposite. So the supply is increasing exponentially while the demand is kind of stable because you can't have more than 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, I feel like it's just when you look at growth in video game demand, for a while we were getting new gamers, but we're so entrenched in most societies now that it's really just population growth is what's going to give us new gamers.
Yeah, and from a demographic standpoint, it's like all layers of the population are playing video games already. It's not like you have a massive increase because people start playing video game, and the birth rate being what it is, you can't really expect to beat in terms of new players the population growth.
Yeah.
And I mean, on that point, by the way, and we've mentioned this before, going back to the Steam top 20, it's the usual suspects, right?
Banana
actually,
good old banana. Yeah. So what's the first surprising thing we have on there?
For me, it's Black Myth Wukong is still top 20.
Yeah. I mean, it looks and.
Palworld is also good, but they came with some content, right? So they are picking up on the content. They are bringing more stuff. So that's kind of cool to see that maybe they will have some kind of No Man's Sky trajectory if they bring significant content. They were the first surprise with their success, but now it is picking up. I'm curious about when you go down. What is Limbus Company 20?
Let's have a look at that. As the executive manager of Olympus Company, lead your group of 12 sinners. Okay, venture into the buried facilities of the cooperation and lay claim on the golden. Is it like a dungeon crawler?
Yeah, it looks like Darkest Dungeon, just aesthetically, and from that brief description.
Is it a YouTube success or like a TikTok trend stuff? Like people started playing it.
That's interesting. Is it the same? Is it the same type of experience as?
Well, this is the.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
It's like almost Persona meets. No, or is this just a? Am I looking at different things? Sorry about that. Never mind. I think this is Limbus Company, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
Is it like a? It's almost Persona, Slay the Spire meets
Darkest Dungeon. Yeah.
Darkest Dungeon-ish.
Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, really check it out.
Beautiful, by the way. If I go back to that list again, I mean,
I'm curious. Is Civ 6 has that always been around that spot, or is that people gearing up for Civ 7?
So Civ 7 is coming out soon.
Yeah, next month.
Okay. I mean, it's over time it's increased.
Yeah.
It hasn't declined at all. So that's very interesting. Okay, gentlemen, I'll move on as well, just so we can go through the news. And obviously, stop me at any time. But jumping over to the news section here, another stock has taken a small plummet, I would say. Nintendo's stock price fell after the Switch 2 reveal due to lack of information on price, launch date, and more, says analyst.
Yeah.
Who is this analyst? But tell us, what can we learn about Nintendo's stock price?
Well, for me, it was kind of the reveal of the reveal, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I feel like telling people we're gonna talk in 2 months and a half. It's a lot. in current time, right? In the way information is placed, it's like, oh, finally. I read somewhere that it was to allow third-party developers to start to communicate about their games, right? So to give them enough time for their marketing campaign. So that
maybe just to stop the leaks and get people to shut up a little bit, I think too. Yeah, because there's so much chatter for so long.
But so my gut feeling is that if they are revealing that's the reveal so much ahead, they're probably not going to wait another 6 months to release the console once it is released. So I would hopefully expect that the console is going to be released in the 3 months following the reveal, beginning of April. I also think it would make sense to release that before the summer, but that's usually when people will go traveling and then they need portable device. So my best guess right now is going to be a release in May or June. Also to avoid any clash with potential release of GTA 6 at the end of the year, if it's still happening, but at least they probably don't want to.
And hopefully also giving me some time to sell my Switch before I get the next one.
Exactly. And I think just from a financial perspective, just the release of a new Mario Kart is going to be, I bet, like, on day one, the new Mario Kart makes more money than Switch 2, easily.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's
and there are rumors of a new Mario 3D game.
Yeah.
I feel like that rumor was started by us. Or we were expecting one, at least.
Really? One analyst says, you're going to be quoted at least.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Sources close to Mario say.
Yes. But it does feel like maybe, hey, it's time to invest in Nintendo stock. It's going to go up eventually.
I don't think this dip is particularly interesting.
Okay. I'm not sure if we spoke about this. Just to touch back on Dragon Age Veilguard, the director of that game has left EA.
Yeah.
After the quote unquote, not my words, attempt at series revival. But is that even noteworthy? I mean,
people leave jobs all the time. Like,
is BioWare even a studio we care about these days?
There are probably not many employees from Mass Effect 3, for example, like from 10 or 12 years ago that are left. I think the thing is, we discussed about the fact that you can launch a new IP as a game, but also your studio, your brand, it's kind of an IP in itself. Like From Software is selling games because it's From Software. But in some cases, mostly when there's been a buying or a purchase of a studio, then this kind of identity and what makes a studio special have a tendency to disappear. And it's like normal, right? People would be in a studio, they would be bought, they have probably retention clause, and then at some point they just leave because they don't decide their future anymore. So
it becomes a box to hold IP.
Yeah.
And possibly technology.
I did show this when we were talking about the not Mass Effect game. Good lord, Dragon Age, and like the gap was like 10 years between the games. And I mean, looking at, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan of the original trilogy, but it's been like 10 years ish. I mean, I don't care about Mass Effect.
Andromeda was a real Andromeda hurt bad, and also you gotta remember Anthem is in there too.
Oh yeah. Okay, moving on to the next item then. GDC's annual State of the Game Industry Survey reveals 1/3 of AAA developers are working on live service games. Maybe not anymore. Sony, but yes. Tell us. Will we see this number decrease next year, maybe?
Yeah, I feel like you've got the train, and then they've done the thing where they throw those brakes down, and there's sparks coming out of it. This train is still going forward, but people are doing what they can to reorient.
It doesn't mean they are working on new live service games, right?
Oh, that's a good point.
They just be working on everlasting live service games already. So I think it's will the share of live service game increase in the future? I think probably still. I think it was interesting. It's cool. There is another one a bit below where there's also talk about PC development. Just right after, actually, these news are linked. And I think it's good when you can have actually a survey with the people working, and not just having sales number talking, but also what developer thinks. And I think GDC is able to get a sample meaningful enough to kind of share this kind of insights. You're mute.
Yeah,
Thank you,
are.
Manu. Thank you for being the host. Back in the day, I would have normally looked at console users as a bit of a different user base than the PC audience. But it does seem in the modern era of gaming, and my takeaway at least, is that if you want to test a product, you don't have to bring it to console simultaneously and invest in that. You can actually just test it on PC and see if you have something special, and then once you know that, you take it to the console side or other platforms. Is there any correlation between that theory or that thought and what we saw about the skyrocketing of PC development?
I think you cannot ignore the PC audience anymore when you are developing a game, because even Sony is going there, so the console exclusive game are disappearing. Also probably because the growth, when you look at territories like China, these are not console markets. Even Southeast Asia, these are not console markets. So with a mature markets in Western world, the growth is still coming from other regions where they might easily have access to a computer rather than a console. So I think that's also linked to that. Where is still the pockets of growth in the world, and most of these pockets are either mobile, but if it's HD, it's probably more PC than console.
I definitely expect that to continue, just because it's just becoming an easier option all the time. Like Steam Deck, and now all the other Steam Decks coming in behind it. That's another way in. Sorry, a little louder here. And it's just it's so much easier to do stuff on PC, and it's much easier to see more people getting excited about that than just kind of the same people that have been having consoles this whole time,
And let's not forget in terms of accessibility, because sometimes people say, yeah, a console is cheaper than a gaming computer, but let's not forget the huge proportion of people that just playing games on the same laptop or computer where they do everything else.
Yeah, and that plays a lot of stuff. I remember one time I had bought like a really beefed out Falcon Northwest computer, and it was running games like shit. But it was running Fortnite totally fine.
Yeah.
And so I called support and I was like, what's going on with that? And what had happened was I had just plugged the HDMI cable or the DisplayPort cable into the wrong slot. So I actually wasn't using my graphics card at all. I was just using integrated graphics, and Fortnite didn't care. Fortnite was fine with that.
Amazing. I will add another note, by the way, which maybe changed the past 10 years, which is support for joysticks and controllers. Previously, you had to fiddle around a lot, try and get your controller to work with your PC, to get it to work with games, and now it's just plug and play, and it doesn't matter if it's an USB Xbox cable or a PlayStation controller. Yeah. So that's maybe also a barrier. We need to look at that at one point. Look at what devices do people use to play with on PC? That could be interesting data. Gentlemen, I'll move over to the last item in the news section here, which is very interesting, and I would love to understand what is going on with that thing, because it's attached to TikTok in some shape or form. But Marvel Snap team seeking new publisher as game returns online following an unexpected US ban alongside TikTok. That is such a weird thing.
Yeah, I think they just didn't like being used as a bargaining chip like that. Because you have to remember, when TikTok was taken down, it was before the actual enforcement, right? So this was sort of like basically a strategy of getting scoring points with Trump. And basically, that's all it was. And I don't think that the Marvel, what I'm saying is that you wouldn't have had to. There was no law saying Marvel Snap had to come down. at that moment, and so I do not think that they appreciate being caught up in those political machinations.
Absolutely. And I think this could cause some like concern for future developers that like, if I'm at the risk of being banned because my publisher doesn't have like great relationship with the US government, then yeah, you think twice, right?
Yeah, it's just as easy not to, basically.
Yeah.
Not to make this a political podcast, do we see any? I mean, obviously we already know how China operates with media companies or games or other types of companies that want to operate in China, but in the West and US specifically, do we see a bigger crackdown on media and games? I mean, because it just becomes part of um, quote unquote, if it's Chinese owned or whatever.
I could see. Well, I think that if you're going to see a larger crackdown on games in the U.S., it'll be a culture war thing, not the China thing. Maybe, but that was really just a fight over TikTok, I think. But I could see definitely as we move towards being a theocracy, that we could definitely lean into some culture war territory there. I mean, you've already seen it with porn in Texas and Florida. I don't know if any VPN companies are publicly traded. If any VPN companies are publicly traded, buy them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there is also this problem with Pornhub. I don't know if you're aware, but in some states it's been banned because you need to have a age check before accessing.
You know, like
them.
upload a government ID, which people are not going to do.
Not willing to do on this kind of website. I think the new president, and the government will do anything tactical to show off strength, right? Whether it's about tariffs, whether it's about banning app, I think they would do whatever it takes to show that they are not dependent on anyone else. And video games and just social apps being so big right now, it's normal that they would eat where the money is. That's just like that. Yeah. Yesterday it would have been maybe banning some movies for some reason, but now it's more about banning access to apps and to video.
Well, and I could also see platforms being affected because basically Musk and Zuckerberg and Bezos are about piling up.
Yeah.
And so if they decide that they want to push some kind of gaming platform alongside their companies, then I could see the government stepping in and clearing the way a little bit, making it easier.
Yep.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'll move over to the trend then.
The other thing, I think, if you're on the other side of the deal, right? If you're like an Asian or Chinese company, you're like, I have a lot of uncertainty for my business in the US. So I might really tone down my focus and my investment there and maybe look more into Europe or into Asia. So they might shift and decide that, okay, maybe I need to tailor my games more for European audience, and not that much for the US audience.
Is there a lot of tailoring that happens for a European audience versus an American audience? Or is that
I don't know. I'm just you might invest more marketing in some other territories. It's more about, I don't know if there is that much cultural difference. Probably, I think Marvel is not that popular. Maybe there are some other IPs that would be more popular in Europe than Marvel, for example. But I just think they are certainly considering that.
I mean, two things come to mind when you guys are talking about this. One is spillover from US, if it's sanctions, if it's a policy, whatever it is, because we know Europe is like it's a follower, not necessarily setting the agenda. That's one thing that I'm thinking about. The other thing is, if like almost 80% of all studios in Europe are owned by Tencent or whoever, like even like one of the biggest games ever. Like if we just look at League of Legends and I forgot the name of that studio, but
right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. What happens with that?
Yeah, it could
Are
happen.
those
You
people
could see
rethinking?
people flexing. People like Manu said, there's no level of flex that's off the table, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then let's move over to the trends then, my friends. Number one item, and this is a person that I've followed for a long ass time, ever since like I was almost 10 years old. And I'm trying to click on this story, and for whatever reason, my mouse is not working.
The
Oh
mouse
no!
link for some
Oh,
reason.
the link is not working. The mouse is working, but I'll read it out, and then maybe we'll fix that, or I'll just Google it. But Ted Price, I assume founder and also current or former CEO of Insomniac Games, is retiring after 3 decades, and for the most part of that time, made exclusive games for PlayStation. Was purchased 2, 3, 4 years ago by Sony. So that was a payout, and I'm assuming.
This is probably the period. Like this was his investment period. Would be
Yes,
my assumption.
exactly.
I'm just looking at the picture, and he really, speaking of politics, he looks like he is in a political ad for Congress in Illinois. Like
This one?
he's going to be squatting down and petting a dog and telling me why Representative Jones cares about his family.
This is, it's big news, but maybe to your point, not unexpected to see.
Yeah,
and
3 decades. That's a long time.
Yeah, my point is more. There are more and more people actually retiring from video games, right?
Yeah.
which also show the old age of this industry already. While we all feel fresh, right? Like at the peak of our strength, it's just people are already retiring. There was a few months ago this Nintendo person also retiring at 60-year old, and I think that's also a message that the people who decide are also getting older. Right? You're talking about 50, 60-year-old people and not anymore this 20, 30-year-old startup type of person. You see the same in tech, right? Zuckerberg, Bezos, these people are not 20 or 30-year-old, 20-year-old anymore. So it's curious to see.
Why don't they retire? They should just retire. Come on, guys.
Yes. I think Bezos is not. It's kind of is named the new CEO, right? So I don't think he's CEO anymore.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? He's clearly around. Like whatever levers he's pulling, he's in charge.
Yeah.
I was thinking a bit about the cool games that Insomniac has over the years delivered. From Spyro to Ratchet and Clank. Resistance was an amazing series. Unfortunately, it took a downturn at the end of the PlayStation 3 era. But and then they go from that to doing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
one of the best games ever made.
And I mean, Ratchet and Clank are ripped apart. That was cool. That was a great game. That was
One of
just.
the
I
best
can't
games
imagine
ever
a
made.
game. I can't imagine a better version of a game that looks like that. Basically, they did it.
It looked like a Pixar movie, basically, and it played even better. I'll move over to the next item then on the list, my friends. Bohemia Interactive, and you have to remind me who Bohemia is. Revenue jumped 34% this financial year to $60 million.
Oh, wow. Bohemia is Arma.
Arma. Do they get any royalty on any other of these mods that have been created?
Well, they have the engine, right? So
Yeah.
I'm assuming they get something from the engine. But remember, Arma 4 has been announced, right? I don't remember exactly if they announced a release date.
Yep.
34% jump. That is. What's that coming
2027. So we still have some time. But I think it could be significant for the industry, particularly on PC, obviously, and with what it will bring to the table.
Yeah, and they definitely make money off of some of their most successful mods. They lost control of Battle Royale, but there's a lot of other stuff.
It does seem like they own DayZ, it seems like.
Yeah.
But also, we're talking about 60 million revenue, right? $60 million revenue. That's nothing. That's a drop in the industry. Let's be honest.
Well, for a company based in the Czech Republic, that's huge, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next item on the list, my friends. Skyrim is on... Why? Okay. Manu,
Yeah.
you have to explain yourself. Why are you reporting about Skyrim?
Because it's on sale for 90% off and it was skyrocketing back to the Steam charts.
Who doesn't own Skyrim today?
People, man. People.
Let's see where it is. Skyrim in the ranking.
Is that the remaster or?
Some players of today were not born when Skyrim was launched, right?
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good point.
And there's nothing else quite like it still. I mean, Avowed is on its way. Maybe that'll do it. But like, Fallout 4 doesn't necessarily scratch that Fallout itch. Starfield does not.
Kingdom Come, Deliverance 2. I'm looking forward for that one.
Yeah, me too.
But okay. I mean, it was just funny to mention that. Nothing really.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But so I don't feel like I got the answer. Is when the scales skyrocket, is that because they did release a remaster or like a complete edition or whatever it's called?
As a special edition, right? So if you look at the number, just again, maybe you can just get there. I'm just gonna give you the link. Just click on the link and open it.
Please do. Let me have a look.
If you go down, you will see there is a link. Yes.
At the bottom or
no, top.
Top.
No, I mean the graph basically. You see in the last 6 years where it is.
Oh, good lord!
Right, 60K concurrent player is a lot. If you look at the average, if you go to the basic ranking, like top 20, like 24-hour peak, that would bring them in the top 20.
Is it in trending or?
Oh no!
Oh, there you go. Yeah, 15, top 15. Yeah, here 90%. Oh no, that's the rating. Sorry, I was thinking about increase. What is it called when? Maybe I need to click on it. When you have the, I forgot what it's called, but like the rate that it's increasing at.
Well, I mean, you can see on the curve, right? It peaked went from, but the good thing is that there's still 25,000 concurrent player on average, right? Outside of promotion. So this is still a very, very good level. And this is also all thanks to all the mods, right? There are different ways to play Skyrim. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you think about that. Which game have never reached 60,000 concurrent player?
Yeah, and Skyrim's doing it.
See, that's a live
later?
service game for you, Manu.
That's what?
That's a live service game for you.
Yeah.
Live service doesn't mean that people keep playing, right? That's not the definition of live service, because Demineur is also a live service game.
Cool.
Minesweeper is also a live service game, but
hell yeah.
I'm on the Minesweeper subreddit, which is a fun place to be.
Are they releasing any updates to Minesweeper?
Absolutely,
they should be.
Yeah.
They should be.
I would play a VR Minesweeper.
There you go.
Or like Minesweeper effect, like there was Tetris effect, like Battle Royale.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
I'll move over to the next item on the list. Planet Coasters, or just Coaster 2, isn't the financial success that Frontier needed, according to a report, which means there's more pressure on Jurassic World Evolution 3 to bring in the big bucks. That was a mouthful. Can you be kind and explain Planet Coaster 2 and also Frontier? Just a reminder, please.
Well, Planet Coaster is just a theme park simulator, right? Building simulator. And I think Frontier is specialized in that kind of games. But the problem is, I think it just shows that you still need a non-IP, even in this niche genre. And I think Jurassic Park is a very good experience for any Jurassic Park fan. It really has the flavor of Jurassic Park, the music, the soundtrack, everything. You really feel that you are in Jurassic Park. So, it's like
And
you
it's
see
a
on
cool
mobile.
challenge,
Sometimes
yeah.
you just add a known skin on an existing game, and you just get more revenue, right? So that's kind of show the added value of using.
No, I mean, I think that really is a purpose-built thing, Jurassic Park. There's a lot of stuff that is very specific to that. I guess it's closer to Planet Zoo, but
Yeah.
like they made a Jurassic Park game, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you. I'll move over to the next item. Former Nintendo boss admits Astrobot nearly beat them in their own game. That's an interesting thing. I would love to read the quote. Let's see if we can find it. Coming from who is
Reggie.
this person, by the way? I need to.
It's Reggie Fiat me, man.
I hope you know Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Oh, Reggie. Okay, good old Reggie. Astrobot almost outdid Nintendo at its own game. Okay.
I think it's just acknowledging how good Astrobot is as a platformer, right? Because
Yes.
this can be the garden of Nintendo.
Yeah.
It doesn't change that much. I don't think any Nintendo fan would jump and buy a PlayStation because of that. But I think it's acknowledging that other companies are able to reach the quality level of the best Nintendo games.
They just need to focus and be passionate about what they're building.
Yeah, and I mean, the game is amazing. I know a lot of people that really love the game.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I feel like Sony is not leveraging the mascot enough somehow. I don't know.
Well, I think this was its big test, right?
Yeah.
So they did the first thing, people liked it. And then the test is, can you do it again? And now I think they're going to think about what they need to do with this mascot now that he has proven himself.
Absolutely. We want the movie,
himself.
Right?
Yes.
Do we really care that much?
Yes.
Well, they still, I think he's got a bright future ahead of it. It's not there yet. Like if the movie comes out tomorrow, I don't think it would do great, but I do think it can be continually expanded upon.
Was there a Ratchet and Clank movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Did that do anything?
Ratchet and Clank movie. Yep, 2016.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
Let's see what its box office was.
14.4, budget is 20, so it didn't do that great.
No, it didn't. Yeah, that barely registers.
Yeah. And it does feel like, to be honest, Astrobot, yes, cool, cute, but I don't think it has the charm anywhere close to like a Mario.
I mean, yeah, it's.
Have you seen the Wild Robot?
The Wild Robot. I have not seen.
I have not, but my family has, and they loved it.
Yes. So there is room for that.
Wild.
They made how much in total? Where can't I see the total of that? Oh my god! Oh, they made 300 million.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the real the movie. We're saying will the movie succeed or not based on this theoretical movie, based on the popularity of Astrobot, but also it does matter if it's good or not. And I think that Wild Robot did well because it was good.
It's a very good movie, by the way.
Yeah.
If not only if you have kids, I think it's really good. It's based on a book, so it all was also helped by that. It's just good. So yes, I think if you put Astrobot in a good movie, you will have that kind of stuff.
Okay, gentlemen. I will move over to the next item then on the list, which is and the rumors then. Horizon MMO may have survived NCSoft's cull after all.
Yeah, we discussed about that. We don't need to talk more.
Sorry, Manu. Horizon MMO.
This is not Horizon Zero Dawn. This is a different thing.
Okay.
Oh yes, actually, that's
because they use Horizon.
No, a friend of mine who was working at Guerrilla saw the did Horizon MMO canceled, and he's like, what?
It's based on the Horizon franchise, guys. So it is a Horizon.
Oh,
yeah.
So
okay, it is, but it's not the Guerrilla one.
No. NCSoft. So it's really one is really an MMO more than MMO. Yes. But apparently, it's everything is fine. So, but people were thinking, would that be another live service game from Sony that would be cancelled? Apparently, it's not cancelled yet. Or
Yeah.
it's not canceled.
So it survived the NCSoft cull, which I assume mean cutting. Is that correct, Dave?
Yeah, culling is an agricultural term when you kill like
Okay.
members of a flock.
The
But I
culling,
will,
a game
Yeah.
called the culling.
Yeah.
I will predict that if that game comes to release one day, it's gonna fail hard.
Yeah, I just don't think the Horizon IP is nearly as strong as people seem to.
I think a Horizon movie would have less success than an Astrobot movie.
Yeah. Again, it matters if it's good or not. However, also think about Horizon movie or Horizon TV show or anything. It's just in order to make it
They've announced
authentic, it's so expensive to make those robot dinosaurs. You know, like that's not a cheap movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think what game would have been an amazing single player experience? Concord, the single player game.
Sure.
Just reuse the world, characters, everything. Make a single player game. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's like when
Cowboy Bebop style.
Epic canceled Paragon, and they just like there's like threw the assets into the Epic store. Like, do what you want, guys.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I
Last
posted.
item. Oh,
No,
yeah, go
I
ahead.
posted something for the general
Oh, the culling.
The audience.
The culling.
Yes.
There's
I remember
also
playing that game.
Oh,
yeah.
I've never seen that game.
It's a battle royale game.
Horror movie.
Battle Royale 2017. It does look like those horror movies, whose names escape me. The Purge.
Yeah.
The Purge.
Right.
Purge could be considered a relative synonym of culling. There's also a Decemberist song called "The Culling
Is
of the Fold,"
this
which is good.
Hunger Games. It was the closest experience to Hunger Games. So instead of being close to Battle Royale, it was closer to Hunger Games, as you can see with the arc, and stuff. I remember playing that. This could have become a bigger thing. You know, it was in one of the only ones that were in the wave of the Battle Royale. It was slightly different. Less people, so more close quarter. But yeah, I remember that.
And more violent. I think the violence is because Fortnite and PUBG, the lack of gore really helped them do more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, this is basically a couple months between PUBG becoming a big thing, and then I think Fortnite released at the exact same time, roughly-ish.
September.
Yeah.
Fortnite was like 3 months after kind of the people realized what was going on with PUBG.
Absolutely. Anyway, that's just for history books, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Let's go over to the numbers. And we have one item on the list. The only item that matters at this point. And I would love to hear why this number.
First, there is one rumor. And again, Hollow Knight Silk Song is the type of game I don't want to hear about anymore, like the Bloodborne remake. It's like so many people have been. I mean, Hollow Knight was a huge critical success, right?
I know. I loved Hollow Knight. I want Silk Song so badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got into Hollow Knight, but it's been talking forever about Silk Song. It's kind of at some point I just wait and see what happens, rather than trying to get some information about that one.
Yeah, I think there was a dream that perhaps it would be a Switch 2 release title, but there's been a lot of dreams.
Yeah, or Xbox thing, or I mean, it's been talked about being.
Which I just hope the best for them. You know, I feel positively about those developers, and I hope that they haven't developed some serious psychological problems.
Yeah.
Is Hollow Knight really worth playing? Because I feel like I start the game, I spend like 10 minutes. I was like, okay, cool, I've seen this before. I don't need to continue. But tell me, what makes it stand out?
It's just, I think, to start with, it's just a really excellent Metroidvania. Combat, exploration, it has the right vibes, the right rhythm. It does a really, really good job with that kind of, what for me is that crucial Metroidvania feeling of like, the world slowly expanding around you and this feeling of discovery as you get more stuff. And then, we've seen a lot of Dark Souls copycats over the years, and I don't think any other game has done quite as good a job about the kind of with the obfuscated narrative world building stuff that people often sort of they don't talk about that enough with Dark Souls.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And that Hollow Knight is, I think, the best non-FromSoft game that did that. There is a deep, super interesting world going on there, which is kind of only hinted at around the edges. And you can dive in and learn it all if you want, or you can just let that kind of feeling of loss and sadness wash over you. And they do a great job with it.
Yep.
Okay. So thank you for reminding me about Hollow Knight, by the way. I missed that item. Should I move over to the numbers with the only item we have on that list?
Let's
which
go.
takes us back to Balatro. Hits another millionth milestone. Indie game has sold 5 million copies in less than a year. Is this significant in any shape or form?
For an indie game, yes, I
Yeah.
think it is. But I think next time we talk about Balatro, maybe it's when they reach 10 million. We're not gonna celebrate every million.
I feel like it's the kind of game which does stand the chance of becoming entrenched.
Let's say hello to
Like
Jimbo.
it could just be like a thing that's around. People are always playing it.
Yeah, exactly. And they can add more. They can do. I don't know if it's multiplayer at this point. I don't think so. You can play against other humans.
That would be a massive update. They could probably just release like a $5 paid update, and people would jump all over it.
Absolutely.
Dave, did they not do like a collaboration with other IPs? As
Yeah,
well?
they did some of that recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, gentlemen. So I guess we've reached the end of the show. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I think that's it. That's the week in video game news.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time today. I guess, again, for those who are listening, thank you so much for sticking around for this long. And like we always say, do all the social stuff. I think last week we hit some records, so that is appreciated. The likes, the shares, all that stuff. And then, of course, I changed some of the things. So you might have noticed that our game industry executive summary branding has changed. We also have a new link to the newsletter, which is Gies Weekly, GIES Weekly.substack.com, or just go to mighty.diamonds to find us from there. With that being said, thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Good seeing you guys. See you soon.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
I was about to click the wrong button.
Again.